Okay, I'm going to go ahead and handle that add to cart action. You can handle it in the category servlet or the cart servlet. I think those are both appropriate places to handle it. I've already got it as a URL pattern in my category servlet. If you don't have that, you will have to add it. And furthermore, I've even already have a do post method in my category servlet. You may not have that yet, so you would have to add that. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create some local variables. I'm going to create a local variable for the user path. And I'm simply going to get that from the context path. Okay, I'm sorry, not the context path, that's the servlet path. Okay. And I'm going to create an HTTP session variable called session so I can get a handle to the session and make the cart object a session object or a session attribute. So that is also something I get through the request. And finally, I'm going to get the shopping cart itself. All right. And I'm actually going to set that equal to an attribute that I may find in the session, because I'm hitting the add to cart button. So who's to say if I haven't already hit it? So the idea here is that I'm going to create a new shopping cart the first time I hit an add to cart button. So I may have already hit an add to cart button. I may already have the shopping cart. So if I do have it, this will get it for me. So I'm going to make sure it is called cart. All right. And I should get an error that this is not the right type. So I'm just going to cast it to shopping cart. All right. And if there is no attribute corresponding to cart, then this will return null and cart will be null. All right. So that's what we have to be prepared for. All right. So I have these three local variables, and now I'm going to just check if the user path is add to cart. And that's going to be equals user path. Then I'm going to do all my things here. And actually, I should have a slash in front of it. Okay, so if it is, I'm going to do the following. So basically, I'm going to create a cart if I don't have one already. And if I don't have one already, then it means that this is null. Okay, so if this is non-null, I do have one. So that's how I'm going to check. So I'm going to say if cart equals null, then do the following. I'm going to say cart equals new shopping cart. And then I'm going to add that to the as a session attribute. Okay. So that's basically just there Why do I think that? Thank you. I'm not sure why that was off. Basically, create a cart if you don't have one yet. Okay, so now we know when we get to this point, we know that a cart has been created, and we are going to get the user input from the request here. Okay, and that is that hidden parameter. All right, that was the book ID. Remember, that's going to be returned in the form of a string. All right, so book ID equals request dot get parameter, and we're looking for the parameter book ID. Okay, and then essentially we're going to say if the book ID is non-empty, okay, so if the book ID was handed back, then we're going to go ahead and call the add item method on the shopping cart. So if book ID is not empty, so remember, we're still working with a string here. Okay. We're going to say book equals, well, we're going to get the book from the book DAO, and we're going to find by book ID, but we can't pass in the string here, so we're going to parse this string. Integer should recognize that. Okay, and we're going to parse this string book ID. All right, so now presumably we have the actual book, and we can pass that into our cart. All right. And finally, and of course we don't want that. And then finally, this is all under this add to cart. We're going to say that we're going to change that user path to category. All right, and we're simply going to just put the user path here. All right, so essentially if this post method is called with anything other than add to cart, it's just going to pass that to the forward request, and it'll go to that JSP page if it exists. All right, so we're only handling this for the add to cart action. Okay, so I just updated the add to cart action, and I want to see if that has an effect. I have to go back into IntelliJ and deploy. All right, so let's go here now and reload this page. All right, so I should be starting out with 0 items in my cart. And now when I click add to cart, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? it tells me exactly how many items I'm adding items to cart. I can go to a different category, add things to cart, and it will just keep increasing. Okay, so I consider that a success.